Hello there, tarot people. So our card of the day is, it's actually the reverse Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles, there's a lot going on, which you would expect from the full manifestation in the material world that it represents. There's an older figure, looks like a grandfather figure with two dogs looking towards him. There's a couple and a kid in the picture. Seems to be a nice home in a courtyard with lots going on in there. The 10 pentacles are actually arranged in the symbolic formation of the 10 sephira of the tree of life, which have lots of other messages into it if you get into that side of the story. But let's just look at what the card represents and this reversal, maybe some of the messages that it has for us in our lives. So because this card is very much, it represents very much this ability to manifest all things, and there's a strong relationship to family and home and the feelings that family and home bring to us, which is usually safety and abundance and a secure platform from which to branch out. And this 10, all the 10s are of a very, very grounding energy. So the 10 is the full end of the line manifestation story, where everything, all the cups, all the wands, all the swords, and in this case all the pentacles are manifest for us to see very clearly, so we can see the fruits of all of our work in this card. Now when this card is upside down, there is a resistance to this manifestation. There is a natural rejection to some level, certain stories which might be connected to family, past, abundance, work, money, wealth, all of those stories which the pentacles represent for us. So if we have a resistance to the full manifestation of abundance in our lives, or the full manifestation of family well-being, safety, and all of those things, it usually comes from some type of family trauma. And because there's a strong family theme in this card, there's always going to be something ancestral to look at. There's always going to be something about our inheritance that we need to look at, what we have inherited from, and that can be on a mental, emotional, and physical level. The way our body looks, for example, what we have inherited from our parental line. This is something that we may be okay with or we may not be okay with, but there is a little bit of a rejection here, which might come from certain family conflicts that have been unresolved. It could be some negative traumas that we relate to the home environment that we normally might have run away from in the past and have separated from and reject in some way, shape or form. It may just be that this card represents for us the need to step outside of this home family environment, which is sometimes a positive action. It sometimes can be useful if we're not doing it in a denial and avoidance type of dynamic where we're running away. If we are taking a step out of the family entanglements, we can call them, in order to get a clearer view of who we are and to understand where we're coming from, to understand and to embrace and accept our own personal stories and our patterns and our traumas better, then this is a great thing to do. Sometimes we can't process stuff when there are too many close relationships, old close relationships right in front of our faces, and it's very difficult for us to see ourselves when life is up here. We can get a clearer picture when we take a step back and we don't have so many people being that super intense, intimate mirror for us in our lives, especially mirror of old stuff that comes hand in hand with stories that we can easily reject. There are some beautiful things that come with the relationships that our family represent for us. There's always going to be more delicate experiences and memories as well as fantastic ones, and they'll be both connected to one person, one mirror, and when we see that mirror we'll be looking at both stories, and it's very difficult to be objective. And sometimes stepping outside can help us individuate, help us see with a deeper level of clarity what's going on in our lives. And as long as we step out, not with an avoidance type look the other way, throw it under the rug and pretend it ain't there type of story, then it can be a healthy dynamic. But all in all, there are some, when this card comes up, there are family stories to look at. And if we are avoiding looking at something, this is a fantastic time to take our, to step into a different level of authenticity and look into ancestral patterns and stories that our forefathers would have been dealing with and working with, and we may have repeated in some way or another. When I was looking at this card, I was going through the whole family story, and you know how I ran away from the family when I was 19 and didn't really come back, and my two family failed experiences as well in life, and how I have repeated some ancestral patterns and continued unconsciously a lineage of avoidance and repressing, facing up to certain stories that want to be healed, that want to be looked at. And I can see my life as a perfect representation of my mother and father and grandparents as well, whom I may not have known so well, but have all dealt with a lot of similar stories, and I've dealt with a lot of similar patterns that I myself have personalized in my own life, unconsciously so, in order to work through some of the ancestral stories that I've come here to work through and heal, that maybe my forefathers never were interested in doing so, or didn't have the luxury to dive into. And there is something here which is important for all of us to take a look at. This is, you know, when this card is upside down, we need to look at our relationship to money, our relationship to wealth. It can be that we're often, you know, focusing on the lack instead of the abundance which we have in our lives. You know, there's always going to be something missing, but instead of taking for granted what we might have grown accustomed to because we've always had it, let's look at that something that we've always had and really choose to appreciate it instead. Really choose to bring in the gratitude, focus on feeling the amazingness that our life is and all that we've achieved. It's super important. The strongest figure in this card is, or let's say the biggest figure is this grandfather figure. You know, there's a wisdom here which speaks about tapping into our experiences and all that we've achieved in life and not taking anything for granted, but giving thanks for everything that we've managed to do instead of thinking of all the things that we haven't managed to do. I know I'm guilty of this a lot, you know, because I will naturally think of, oh, but I could have, should have, would have done this a lot better, if only, instead of just going, yeah, okay, well, I've had a pretty amazing life and I've done a lot of stuff and I've experienced so many beautiful things, and there's a lot more to be grateful for. There's a lot more to appreciate in my life. For me to be wandering around focusing on all the things I am lacking or have lacked in the past. And this is really what this reversal is asking us to do, to switch a little bit our viewpoint upon the whole family story and to feel grateful for things in the past that might have seemed like a traumatic experience or seemed like a conflicting experience, but really have brought us some amazing lessons, have helped us achieve what we have achieved, get to the point where we are in our lives and manifest all the things that we are actually learning to manifest right here and now. And the fact that you're watching this video means that you know that there's something that you're still open to learn, no matter how old you are. There's something that you're still here to manifest. There's something more that you can manifest. There's something more that you will manifest, and it's going to be amazing and beautiful, and it's going to be something that you've never done before, no matter how old you are. And sitting in this energy of appreciation and gratitude for all that has gone past and has happened in the past, even if we don't really understand some of the lessons that life wants us to learn, that have been the real point of experiencing certain difficult and conflicting experiences in the past, even if we haven't learned them yet, just sit with that acceptance that they hold their lessons. We can and will learn those lessons, and we will even and can be appreciative to some of the stories that have not yet come to fruition, because there is a part of this story that we're resisting a little bit the fruit. And if we feel the appreciation for life, that fruit is, we're eating that fruit straight away with that thankfulness that we are throwing out there to the universe. And this is the message of the reverse 10. I hope it's been a wonderful day for you. And if not, hey, dive into some ancestral patterns and see if you can't understand a little bit more clearer what you have come here to do and the purpose of your healing journey. Thank you very much. Make a comment down below if you're interested.